Prices are going up, the economy is uncertain, and you need a plan.
If you don't know us, I'm Larry.
And I'm Hope.
And we're from Under the Median, where every week we bring you videos on practical frugality.
We have to start this video by saying we had something completely and totally different planned. We had it scripted, ready to go, but then, just a little bit ago, I listened to a video by the Economic Ninja. And the ninja was talking about really the economy from the perspective of business owners, specifically car companies. But he said something that really triggered something in my mind that made me think, I really have to share this with our audience. He talked about the fact that smart business owners have what are called SOPs. That stands for Standard Operating Procedures. And that means that business owners have looked at the economic conditions and they have specific plans for what they do if their sales drop by 30% in 1 month. Then they have a different plan for what if sales drop 30% in any one given quarter. And I thought, we need to consider our personal finances a little bit more like business owners do right now. But instead of standard operating procedures, we're going to tell you guys to do what Larry and I have done for a long time, and that is to have a what if plan.
The what if plan for us is, if this happens, then we're going to do this. And this in the what if plan is downsizing, cutting, modifying, doing anything we can to tweak our budget to make it work for the current conditions that are coming into play. If you're interested in the video that Hope talked about just a minute ago from the Economic Ninja, we're going to leave a link in the description of this video to his.
A lot of times these conversations happen just spontaneously. They happen naturally. When Larry walks in the door and I say, hey, I just read this article. What do you think about this? That's your what if conversation moment.
You know, I kind of equate this to preparing for bad weather.
Yeah.
If you know in the wintertime that it's going to snow, you're going to get your snow brushes ready, your snow shovels, maybe your snow blower. You're going to make sure that it runs. You're going to make sure that you're planned for that event. And that's basically what we're talking about. We're talking about planning for the possibilities of some adjustments that might need to be done in your budget. The first step in this process is to locate and find information about what it is that you're interested in learning. The best way to do this is to find 3 good, reliable sources. The 3 sources that we used when we were comparing gas information, we were getting information about the gas prices. We used CNN Business. CNN gave us information about what gas prices were doing right now and what they projected in the future. We also looked at CNET. We've relied on CNET as a really good source of information in the past. They've got a good track record. They're neutral. They don't have anything to prove. Then we went to the Business Insider and went through the very same process. So you compare all 3 and you'll get a pretty good idea of where things are standing and where they're going.
It's a great idea as you're going through to track where you're finding this information. How many times have you seen something and you're like, 20 minutes later, you're like, you've gone down the rabbit hole of Google, right? And you have no idea what that website was that you were on 20 minutes ago. So we like to just track the information so we know exactly where it came from. Then we do just a really quick synopsis of what did I find out from reading this source? What does this source say about what's happening right now in this area of my budget? In this case, of course, we were talking about gasoline prices.
Step 2 in this process is creating a plan for what if. Let's say, what if prices go up 20%? What if they go up 30%? What if they go up 40%? What can you do for each of those scenarios in order to properly respond to it?
And once again, we have a form that we filled out. You don't always have to have a form, but it's nice to be able to organize your thoughts and your information somewhere. We'll show you once again, we'll put this up on the screen so you can see it. This was our what if plan for rising gas prices. Interestingly, this is not the first what if plan that we had ever gone through with gas prices. Years ago, this was 13 years ago when we first bought this house, gas prices went to $4 a gallon. And everybody was like, oh my Lord. It was like the second coming or something. It was people, Armageddon. It was, people were very upset about that, which doesn't it seem kind of weird and ironic now, because like now that's pretty commonplace for gas prices to hover at $4 or certainly above that. Those of you who are on the West Coast are going, surpassed that a long time ago. Totally understand that.
And interestingly enough, as Hope speaks about this, the gas prices where we're at just went to $4 a gallon.
Yeah. You'll notice that this part of the what if plan involves figuring out exactly what your response is going to be to the sources that you looked up in step 1. All right, so step 2 is you are going to look at different scenarios. You can say, what if the prices go up 30%, 40%, 50%, or you can do what we did here on this form, and we said, what if gas goes to $7 a gallon?
So
just sort of, talk it over with one another.
Yeah. We came up with some contingency plans on what we would do if it got to $7 a gallon. One of them, and this makes the best sense, and we actually practice this now, consolidate trips, make a weekly checklist of ways to increase gas mileage and cut costs, map out routes ahead of time, know where you're going, and take the most efficient pathway that you can to get from point A, B, C, D, and back home.
It's always a good idea to push yourself a little bit further. So we said, what if gas gets to $10 a gallon? What are we going to do then? Then we came up with a scenario for that.
For $10, we were going to carpool if necessary, eliminate all unnecessary driving, and you have to kind of qualify what is unnecessary for you. Evaluate monthly bus pass. This is when I was still working. Map out all shopping places within a 3-mile radius. Now we're going to shorten our trips down by confining them to a 3-mile radius. Now, if you live out of town and you have to drive 20 miles or 30 miles to get to your shopping areas, then what you might want to do is go to those areas, shop, bulk buy, and stock up so you're not going into town as often.
Those of you that already shop once a month, I know, I've done this before. I think you guys are amazing. I live in town and I still shop more than once a month. Those of you who live outside of town a ways and shop once a month, I think you're absolutely incredible. So you're probably already doing that. Then we have one more step that we take. What if gas went to $12 a gallon? Now, is this an exact science? Absolutely not. Mm-hmm. But what this does is it gets your mindset sort of reset when it comes to whatever that commodity is that you are purchasing on the regular. In this case, it was gasoline. What if it's not readily available? What are you going to do? So at $12 a gallon, we said,
get a horse and buggy and move to Amish country.
Yes! We have Amish friends. Maybe they would welcome us.
But seriously, car share with the kids, map out all shopping places within a 3-mile radius, but this time in order to do some walking.
Yep.
Map out all shopping places within a 10-mile radius for me to pick up groceries on the bike, which I certainly can do. In fact, I do some errands already on the e-bike. I'll go to the post office and pick up packages and haul them back. I got a basket on it for hauling things. If we had to go with the e-bike, I'd get a trailer and put our groceries in there. And that way we would leave the cars, for the most part, in the garage.
A lot of economic conditions change over time.
Yeah.
Our 15-year-old is taking economics this semester. And we homeschool, so of course I am the one teaching him economics, which I cannot tell you how much fun I am having teaching him economics. So much fun.
Kind of right up her alley.
We are having a lot of really deep conversations about the kind of stuff that we talk with you guys about. But one of the things I was noting with him when we were doing our studies on Friday was economics is deeply connected to a lot of other push and pull things that happen in our society. And one of those things is about to happen in the United States next year, and that is a national election. Economics can change dramatically based on the results of an election.
They sure can.
And you have to just be aware, economic cycles is a real thing. One of the things that we're experiencing right now is part of the normal ebb and flow of the economic cycle. Now, we are the first to tell you that we do agree that this cycle, this down cycle, we do think it's going to be a little deeper than it has been in the past. And we think it's going to last a little
bit
longer than
Yeah.
it does in the past.
Yeah.
But we don't say that to fearmonger or to make anybody afraid, because I don't think there's any reason to be afraid. We feel like if you take some of these steps,
Plan.
it's going to take the fear out of it when you do the planning.
That takes the edge off. That's right. Once you have a plan in place,
Yep.
then you don't worry about it. It's just like planning for a tornado. You go down your basement and you get into a room where there's no windows. It's a safe place. You've made your plan. That's all you can do. Basically, some of the things that we deal with are a little out of our control. So the best thing you can do is plan for these scenarios, and then whatever happens, you take other steps as you need to.
Now, step 3. This is the step people forget.
Yeah.
The price of gasoline will dramatically affect a number of other areas of your budget. People forget the little step down at the very bottom of this sheet that says, what other areas of my budget will this affect? And then you have to brainstorm. The cost of gasoline, it took me about, 60 seconds to write down these things. And this is just a starting list.
Yeah, food and other goods will rise in a similar fashion because of transportation costs. Online merchant prices will increase because of shipping costs. And remember, we're talking a double-edged sword. They have things that are shipped to them, and then they have to ship them to you. So you got those higher shipping costs on both ends. Manufacturing costs will increase due to the cost of obtaining parts and ingredients. So it does have kind of a logarithmic effect on economics.
In short, your what if list is going to help you to sleep better at night.
Yes.
It's going to help you to be more peaceful, and it's going to help you to be more prepared so that when economic conditions do change, you've already thought about it ahead of time. If there's one thing that we could urge you to do right now in order to be prepared for changes in the economy, that would be get out of debt.
Yeah.
If you're wondering if there are any real ways to cut areas of your budget in a meaningful way and to significantly spend less and save more every month, yes, you can. And we wrote an ebook on it. It's 10 ways to radically reduce your expenses. All 10 of these ways we used when we were saving up to pay cash for the house in which we currently live. That ebook is free, and there'll be a link to it in the description of the video. But I just mentioned an important word, budget.
Yeah, in order to get out of debt, you have to know what your budget is. And if you have not set up a budget, we have a video that we did a short while back, 4 steps to budgeting. It should take only about a half an hour to set up your budget based on this plan. And if you're interested in that, we have that video right over there.